And here we are again at Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 52. You shall see the land before you, but you shall not go thither unto the land which I give the children of Israel. Notes: as previously stated, the law can never inherit the promise. It is not that the law is unfavorable, but rather that man is unable to render perfect law-keeping. Galatians chapter 3, verse 18, and we're at chapter 33. And this is the blessing wherewith Moses, the man of God, blessed the children of Israel before his death. And he said, the Lord came from Sinai and rose up from Seir unto them. He shined forth from Mount Paran, and he came with 10,000s of saints. From his right hand went a fiery law for them. Notes: from his heavenly seat, where myriads of angels surrounded his throne, this is the event that Moses is talking about. Verse 3, Ye, he loved the people, all his saints are in your hand, and they sat down at your feet, every one shall receive of your words. Notes: everyone shall be blessed who receives your words is really kind of a way that could be read. Verse 4. Moses commanded us a law, even the inheritance of the congregation of Jacob. And he was king in Jeshurun when the heads of the people and the tribes of Israel were gathered together. Notes: Israel inherited the law, which placed them in a category pretty much by themselves, far ahead of all the other nations of the world, at least as long as they obeyed that particular law. And when it's talking about the king of Jeshurun, it means the upright ones, which was God's tender name for his people. Verse 6, Let Reuben live and not die, and let not his men be few. Notes: now, you have to remember, Reuben was prophesied by Jacob to be unstable as water, Genesis chapter 49, verse 4. But the Lord, through Moses, gives Reuben a promise, in effect saying that the tribe would not die despite the sin that had been committed, Genesis chapter 35, verse 22. Verse 7, And this is the blessing of Judah. And he said, Hear, Lord, the voice of Judah, and bring him unto his people. Let his hands be sufficient for him, and you be an help to him from his enemies. Notes: okay, the blessing of Judah is in the form of a prayer to the Lord. The prayer was answered, and that Judah's hands were sufficient, and that this tribe brought forth the Messiah. Okay, verse 8. And of Levi he said, Let your Thummim and your Urim be with your Holy One, whom you did prove to Massa, and with whom you did strive at the waters of Meribah, who said unto his father and to his mother, I have not seen him, neither did he acknowledge his brethren, nor knew his own children, for they have observed your word and kept your covenant. They shall teach Jacob your judgments, and Israel your law. They shall put incense before you, and whole burnt sacrifice upon your altar. Bless, Lord, his substance, and accept the work of his hands. Smite through the loins of them who rise against him, and of them who hate him, that they rise not again. Okay, notes: even though Levi was cursed by God, as recorded in Genesis chapter 49, verse 5 through 7, that curse was wiped away because they have observed your word and kept your commandments. Numbers chapter 25, verse 1 through 13. Moses passes over Simeon, possibly because, as Jacob foretold, he was scattered among his brethren, in Genesis chapter 49, verse 7. Well, in fact, his inheritance was within the territory of Judah, recorded in Joshua chapter 19, verse 2 up to 9. So the blessing on Judah would have been the blessing basically on Simeon. Verse 12. And of Benjamin he said, The beloved of the Lord shall dwell in safety by him, and the Lord shall cover him all the day long, and he shall dwell between his shoulders. Notes: Well, this should say actually to be between the shoulders, and it is to be carried on the back. 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 6. As a father might thus bear his child, so should Benjamin be born of the Lord, set on top, be carried by the Lord, if you will. Verse 13. And of Joseph, let me clear my throat. And of Joseph he said, Blessed of the Lord be his land, for the precious things of heaven, for the dew and for the deep that couches beneath, and for the precious fruits brought forth by the sun, and for the precious things put forth by the moon, and of the chief things of the ancient mountains, and for the precious things of the lasting hills, and for the precious things of the earth and the fullness thereof, and for the good will of him who dwells in the bush. Let the blessing come upon the head of Joseph, and upon the top of the head of him who was separated from his brethren. Verse 17. His glory is like the firstling of his bullock, and his horns are like the horns of unicorns. With them he shall push the people together to the ends of the earth, and they are the 10,000s of Ephraim, and they are the thousands of Manasseh. Okay, notes. Ephraim and Manasseh were the sons of Joseph, and it is actually two tribes which Moses here is actually blessing. Okay, all the blessings of all the tribes will come to fulfillment in the kingdom age and not before. It is to be noticed there is no reprimanding of the tribes here whatsoever. And for all those wise guys out there saying that there's a mention of a fairy tale figure here being the unicorn, please be informed that the word unicorn properly translated means wild bull. Verse 18. And of Zebulun he said, Rejoice, Zebulun, in your going out, and Issachar in your tents. They shall call the people into the mountain. There they shall offer sacrifices of righteousness, for they shall suck of the abundance of the seas, and of treasures hid in the sand. Verse 20. And of Gad he said, Blessed be he who enlarges Gad. He dwells as a lion, and tears the arm with the crown of the head. And he provided the first part of himself, because there, in a portion of the lawgiver, was he seated. And he came with the heads of the people. He executed the justice of the Lord and his judgments with Israel. And of Dan he said, Dan is a lion's whelp. He shall leap from Bashan. Verse 23. And of Naphtali he said, O Naphtali, satisfied with favor, and full with the blessings of the Lord, possess thou the west and the south. Verse 24. And of Asher he said, Let Asher be blessed with children. Let him be acceptable to his brethren, and let him dip his foot in oil. Notes. Now, some have endeavored the claim to basically claim that this pointed to crude oil, which was in the vicinity of the boundaries of the tribe of Asher. However, it doesn't refer to that at all. It refers to the moving and operation of the Holy Spirit, who is symbolized by the oil. Well, we covered that very thoroughly, speaking about the tabernacle way back there in the book of Numbers and Leviticus also. Verse 25. Your shoes shall be iron and brass, and as your days, so shall your strength be. Notes. Now this refers to the fact that the dwelling of Asher shall be strong and impregnable. Verse 26. There is none like unto the God of Jeshurun, which means the upright one, who rides from upon the heavens in your help, and in his excellency on the sky. Notes. The Lord is far above the ridiculous idol gods of these heathenistic nations. And we must pick up in Deuteronomy chapter 33, verse 27. And we're getting ready to wrap things up. Thank you, and God bless.